Let's go over the Star Wars franchise when it comes to writer and director Rian Johnson. This is Mike Zero here. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, as you all know, these past couple of days, a lot has been going around over behind the scenes over at Disney and Lucasfilm, a lot of things that we have been hearing about. We've been hearing more, from Mark Hamill and what he thinks about everything with the sequel trilogy in comparison to George's, original trilogy. Now, we actually did get a little something out of Rian Johnson, and this actually stems from Twitter in a response to a Twitter user on the website where he was going over, how George made his movies and how Rian made his movie and how, this trilogy is working with this trilogy, etc. And Rian Johnson essentially apologizes to the Star Wars fan on behalf of all fans. And a lot of people have been talking about this yesterday leading into this morning. A lot of people are talking about this little statement by Rian Johnson. And this is what he had to say. So it states, "For me, The Last Jedi 100% distills what the spirit and heart of Star Wars has been in my life. But yes, it is personal. It's a certain point of view. And it has to be. Originals were personal for George Lucas. That's why they're alive. Star Wars films will truly betray the heart and spirit of the originals if they lose that and become soulless, clean homages. But being alive means being messy, and it means every film won't line up exactly with what every fan is expecting or wants. I'm sorry. The Last Jedi didn't line up with your own certain point of view. Really, honestly, I am. May the Force be with you." Now, I want to go over my feelings on some of the things, that were treated in The Last Jedi. And, all these different concepts when it comes to the different plot elements in the movie. Now, the first thing, that I didn't really like in The Last Jedi was, of course, the comedy, especially the phone call scene between both Poe and General Hux. Now, the phone call joke between both Poe and Hux, which clearly, Rian made that as a parallel to when Han is saying "we're fine" on that little, microphone thing, talking to another stormtrooper or an Imperial officer in A New Hope before he uses the blaster and blows it up. Now, the comedy, yes, alright, it needed to be dialed down, but there should always be one-liners and comedy, but Rian took it way too far, I feel, in The Last Jedi. Now, Rose Tico and the Canto Bight scenes were way too long in my own personal point of view here, because, well, if you look at Canto Bight, I think that it didn't have much substance. Sure, they were seeking a codebreaker, but those scenes should have been scaled down to make more room for Luke Skywalker. So, the casino city of Canto Bight, though it had good scenery, it looked really cool. They could have honestly had, Lando Calrissian be the replacement of DJ and have him be a significant role while actually, kind of like interacting with both, with both Finn and Rose. It would have been a very interesting dynamic where Luke interacts with Rey and Leia interacts with the Resistance, and then you have, of course, Lando interacting with Finn and Rose. That would have been very cool. Now, the whole running out of gas concept on the Resistance cruiser, another thing that I heavily disagreed with in that movie, it felt like it could have been done in a completely different way. Now, sure, the visuals of the movie are fantastic, I will say that. They really did a good job on cinematography, especially with the Octu scenes within the First Jedi Temple and the sunsets and the beautiful cliff shots, etc. All those scenes were just amazing, and most of them were shot in IMAX, in case you guys didn't know, when they were shooting over in Ireland. Now, many serious moments, I feel, were interrupted by comedy, like when Luke Skywalker was training Rey on his meditation rock. Now, Luke deserved more action. Sure, it's not really, quote-unquote Luke's story anymore, but the saber scenes, I feel, were kept at a bare minimum. Now, John Williams' music was so beautiful in this movie. That's one thing I will say. The John Williams music was amazing. And how could you not like John Williams' music, especially in a Star Wars movie? So, for him to be coming back in Episode 9 really is, just so good to hear, and I cannot wait to see what themes he's actually going to be making for that movie. Now, The Last Jedi, yes, I will say it has its moments, alright? but I feel like I just wasn't enjoying it on a constant flow, like how I feel when I'm watching A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, even Revenge of the Sith. So with The Last Jedi, there are many moments where, you know, I'm not enjoying myself, and then there's these little small moments where, you know, I'm really enjoying it. But for the most part, guys, I really do disagree with a lot of the things that were implemented in this movie. Now, as I always say, I feel like the Luke that we got at the very end of the movie on the planet Crate was 100% Luke Skywalker, alright, when he was on Crate. He was cleaned up, he acted in a true image of what Luke would be like 30 years later. And I wish that that was the Luke that we got throughout a majority of the movie. Now, sure, I understand the concept of having Luke Skywalker, you know, being put on this island, being a bit bitter, and not wanting to do anything or have anything to do with any kind of conflict within the galaxy. And I can understand that, but I would have kept that at a minimum, right? I think that once he heard the news about Han Solo, he should have honestly just snapped out of it right then and there, started training Rey, have a time jump, and then with that time jump, you could have actually given Luke Skywalker a more cleaned up appearance. You don't have to show him, you know, cleaning himself up literally on screen. That's what a good time jump is for, so it can, you know, basically like illustrate that he has changed. So with a time jump midway through the movie, I think that would have been perfect. Where in the background, you know, in the backside of your mind here, you know that there's a conflict between the Resistance and the First Order going on for months. I think that would have been a very interesting way of storytelling. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think about Rian Johnson's statements, and do you guys agree or disagree with most of my pointers that I just discussed today in this video? Drop a comment below, let me know what you think about that, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Got